afternoon, Professor Nada. I hope I pronounce your name right. My name is Justice Boachi, and this is my fourth class at Aspen University. I am going to talk a little bit about my organization. I have been in Yale New Haven Greenwich Hospital for almost a year now, and I am the educational coordinator here in the field of SPD. Just a little bit of about my department in SPD. Our job is to making sure that surgical instruments are properly cleaned, sterilized, and are ready to be used for surgery. This side of the department is really an important part to the hospital and to myself as a leader. And the reason is that I really need to be on a daily basis making sure that my staff members are actually doing their work right because patients actually livelihood depends on us. Greenwich Hospital has been in the Greenwich, New Haven area in Connecticut, and it's one of the best organizations that I have worked for my last 20 years in uh, healthcare. The reason why this organization is so important to me is that they have a system in place whereby everything is done in order to making sure that there is better communication within leadership, and that has actually helped us to actually get the work done. And because of that, you can hardly have the excuses when things are not done the proper way. They have a system in place which makes the organization similar to a functional type of role, and all leadership in each department make sure that we communicate with each other and help each other in a cohesive manner so that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. And that is a gist of my organization. Now, how does the organization actually create value for the organization? You know, in Greenwich area, it's one of the unique places. Wealthy people actually live around that area. So what the hospital does, and especially the community, is that they do help the hospital a lot. So our job as leaders in this big hospital make sure that we actually coordinate affairs within each department, providing resources to every department, making sure that when there is the need, we move from department to department, helping each other. And especially with the field that I find myself, which is sterile processing, we work with the operating room people, meaning that our job centers around working with nurses, doctors who perform surgery, and so we create value by having an educational system in place whereby we actually educate our staff members and then making sure that they actually understand the importance of their job. And what makes them really important is that I always make sure that when it comes to surgical instrument cleaning, the proper processes are followed. I work through my staff members to make sure that they're actually doing everything right, especially when it comes to the chemicals that are used to cleaning these surgical instruments. These chemicals are not only really important to what we do, but also in making sure that our staff members don't get themselves exposed to these dangerous chemicals so that they don't get sick. And not only get sick, it can actually cause death. Example of them is ETO, ethylene oxide, which actually uses gas that you cannot feel it, neither can you smell it. And all it does is that it actually destroys all bacteria and microbial life. And that is one of the things that we use to clean our surgical instrument. So we create value by actually educating our staff members. We have a system in place whereby everybody within the system is being trained in the department that they find themselves. So that has actually made Greenwich Hospital one of the best and a unique organizations within the New Haven network. And in Connecticut is one of the best hospitals that everybody almost talk about. And that is how we are able to create output, especially around this time where we are in our new normal. What we normally do is to train our train our staff members to be able to work in other areas of the department, not only in the department that we find ourselves, but also being able to work in other areas of the hospital. In trying to do that, it helps us to actually utilize the resources that we have in creating value. How effective has this process been, or this organization been? Before we got ourselves into COVID at its universal now, the hospital was actually making sure that education was a key to everyone. And they have benefits throughout the network that you get money for education and a whole lot. And because of that, I encourage my students, my staff members, to actually take the opportunity to actually educate themselves by taking advantage of the money that the hospital provides for them to go to school, and also making sure that they learn in the field that they find themselves. So that is what are some of the things that they have done. And this has actually made everything effective in the sense that there was an open door policy whereby people can actually come to me and ask me for my feedback on things that they do or decisions that they take that they might feel not comfortable with it. And as a leader, my job is to sit them down, encourage them, and help them that they are in fact actually on the right path, and they have my support in everything that they do, not only in the department but within the network. The the Neil Heaven network actually encourages people to come up to say things when they see things, come up to ask for help when they need help. And because of that, it has actually enlightened everyone within the hospital, and we have become one of the best within the New Haven network. Now, there is a policy of inclusiveness. What I mean by that is that when you come to Greenwich Hospital, you will see every uh, different kind of people, let me put it that way. And what I mean by that is that there is always the need to come across somebody who is totally different from the kind of culture that you find yourself. And because of that, we have had respect for each other. We really communicate in the level of understanding that each person understands you with respect and dignity. And there is always a room for people to come together to share their ideas, their culture, and everything. And because of that, it has actually helped the hospital in knowing the kind of people that we work for and how and when to behave in certain ways. And because of that, it has gone a long way in helping this organization. And I feel that this is one of the organizations that I have worked for within my 20 years in healthcare as one of the best, because of the processes that they have in place that is actually adding to our inputs and outputs and making the organization really effective. And I hope that I'm going to use the knowledge that I acquired in education in helping those that are in my department, and also encouraging them to also take the lead in education, because it's a really good thing to do. And I hope that during this course I'm going to learn something that is really unique and important, that I will also be able to impact that same knowledge within my staff members in this organization. Thank you.